Hello, and welcome back to the video. Now today I'm going to be infilling my own nails. Now I've not done this before on camera, so I'm not sure how it's going to go, but if you can see, there's quite a bit of growth there. These are full-on tips, so these are the Apres or Magpie full-on tips, or what, you know, whatever the full-on tip system is that you're using. It makes no difference really the way that I do them. So yeah, so I'm going to need some safety goggles. I'm going to be using this to infill because it's cheap and you can get it on Amazon. So if you are a DIY home user, then you can do this really easily yourself. And this is actually quite a good builder base. I've tried a few different ones, but this is a good one, and it also soaks off. So if you wanted to soak off and you didn't have an electric file, then soak off is good. I do have an electric file. I have my Melody Susie, which, let's see if I can get it in the camera, looks like this. I believe it's called Scarlet or something like that. And it's got a handy few little bits there, look, for you to pop all your bits in. Okay, so I will be stopping and starting the video because, you know, it is going to be boring and laborious sometimes for you to be watching it. And so, yeah, it's not going to be a seamless video of the whole thing. I'm not going to show you me, you know, doing everything that's monotonous, because, you know, if you're repeating it the same over and over again, you're just going to get bored. Okay, so sit back, enjoy the video. I'll put a little bit of background music on, maybe some smooth radio or something like that. So yeah, enjoy. Okay, so I have got this bit here. I don't know, I can't remember what it's called. It's a ceramic bit rather than a carbide bit. So and I've got my drill on 2000 RPM. So let's see how this goes. So I start off with the cuticle area. Obviously, I'm not going to be talking all the way through it. And I might be out of shot sometimes because obviously this is on my own nails and I'm going to struggle to see it if I'm not careful. Now I'm only taking top polish off because I don't want to remove them. So I'm only doing an infill today. I may do a video on complete removal of the full cover tips and also maybe application as well. Oops. I'm trying to watch the camera and watch that I'm not catching my own skin. So I try and check at this point if there's any lifting and sort of blending in the tip where it was previously as much as I can, but not too much because it is on a high RPM and I don't really want that on my natural nail. I don't think there's much lifting on these ones though. I mean, I don't know how many weeks old these are, about 3-4 weeks, something like that. So yeah, I'll just dust that off and you can have a little look. If you see, that's my natural nail underneath, obviously, and I'm just going to need to go in gently around these edges, but there's only a tiny little bit of lifting on there, so that would be infilled quite easy. Let's move on to the next finger. Okay, so cuticle area first. I mean, you don't have to do it this way, you just kind of get you into a routine, I suppose, and the way that you do things. And this is just, you know, the way I do it. Now there's bits flying everywhere, so I do have safety goggles on, which, you know, I showed you in the opening video. And you want to kind of use this away from your skin, so you don't want to be going this way and bringing it that way because you're going to catch your cuticle You need to bring it this way, away from the cuticle, away from the skin. It is a lot harder on yourself than on a client, obviously, because you can't get in the angle. So, you know, here, for example, I'm going to be pulling it towards me because I can't obviously take my finger off and turn it round. So I'm trying my hardest to get these. And again, just making sure that we're going up close. Because that's a rounded edge here, that's not going to hurt my skin. So obviously I need to make sure that I'm only touching the artificial nail or the gel, not my natural nail with this. So that's okay. Let's dust that off and you'll have a look at that one. My camera's now covered in dust. So there's some little lifting bits there around these edges, which I will get with my cuticle bit later. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the next now. So I'm going to carry on and file off the rest of these. I don't think you really need to watch me do all of those, do you? And then I'll come back when they're all finished. Okay, so that's these all done, as you can see. Now there is a little bit of lifting here on this one, if you can see. So I'm going to do something with that. And also there's a fair bit of lifting here on this edge there, where that colour is. So you can use it either, I like to, well, you can use any bits I suppose that you like, that you're comfortable with, but I like to use something like this because I can get right near that cuticle area without hurting, and obviously they're rounded as well. So I'm probably going to go and give this a go. My e-file. Now it needs to be slower, so I'm going to put it on 10,000 RPM and then see how we get on. So I'm going to do this one first. I may turn it up a bit because on me, you know, some people feel the heat more than others. So if they do, then, you know, just be a little bit gentler and all of that kind of thing. So I'm just getting right in that edge now, pulling back that skin there so I can get in that edge. Okay. Sorry, that was out of shot then. Right in there and getting in there. And then again on this bit here. It's hard to do it though in this, at this angle. So that's that bit done. And this one's going to be hard to do at this angle as well, but I'll try my best for you. It looks a bit awkward, doesn't it? And that's because I can't. There we go, I've got it now. It's come up, it's lifted, it's gone. A little bit left there that I'm just going to get out. There we go. Okay. So I think I've got all the lifting bits. And then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so next I'm going to do the cuticle area. So I'm going to push back these cuticles, but I'm going to do it with my drill bit. So I've got this tiny little ball bit. And I'm going to put it on, sorry, excuse me, I've just had my tea. What should I put it on? 10,000 RPM, okay. So I like to start and bring it round. Get right into those grooves. It's quite satisfying to watch. And then it pulls that skin off the nail plate. Sorry if you can hear talking in the background, I have got the radio on. Hopefully my voice is louder than that. So that's that there. I mean, on myself I like to push it back a little bit more. So once I've done that, I like to go right in, get right into these edges there, pull the skin back and get right in there to clean it all out. Okay, it's really important because it'll help the longevity of your nails, and it'll help get rid of any oils that have got stuck down there. Okay, and then the next one. Sometimes you do cut yourself a little bit, but I find this is a lot better. Sorry, I was out of shot then. I find this a lot better than actually pushing it back with a cuticle pusher and nippers. I find with nippers, for me personally, they end up cutting the skin and then it makes it bleed. I try not to use nippers anymore on my customers, or on myself for that matter. Obviously there's some skin hanging here, so what I'm going to do, you'll see in a minute, I'm going to use a bigger ball in a minute. Right, so I'm going to finish doing the rest of them like this, and then I'll come back and show you what I'll do with the ball bit. Okay, so I've done those now, and now to tidy up these edges, I'm going to go in with a bigger ball bit so you can see the difference, look, between the bits. Okay, so this one is not going to be, I'm not going to push as hard on this one, and I'm going to use this literally to get rid of this hard skin and bits of skin that hang in here, and it literally just cleans this area up. Again, I'm on 10,000 RPM. Some people say you shouldn't really go any above 7,500, but I mean, I'm EFL trained, so you know, as long as you're careful, don't push, don't put any pressure on. And then I'm just going to go in here, because this saves me a job, and buff the seam and the natural nail where the tip stops and the natural nail starts, ready for infill. Okay, and again, this nail, just going to tidy up the skin here. You can see that bit coming off there. It's quite satisfying, isn't it? So it is a little bit red because I did catch that one earlier when I was doing it by mistake, but that's because I can't see very well whilst I'm trying to film at the same time. So I'm just cleaning up this area here. So, and also blending this a little bit more, as much more as I can. And then again, let's get this ball bit and get right into these crevices and clean that up. So there's quite a big bit of skin there, look, sorry. I keep going out of shot. See, that's pulled that bit of skin right off there without any damage to my skin whatsoever. Okay. Clean this area up. Look, there's no skin hanging anywhere now. I'll go and do the other two and then I'll come back. Okay, so that's those all done. Now, because I'm using the full-on tips, what I like to do is, if you look underneath, you do get a little bit of gel. Now, depending on your customer, sometimes it's thicker than others. For me, because I'm used to my own nails, I know how much gel to apply. But I do just like to get that out, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm just using like a conical piece like that. You could probably even use one a bit thinner, actually. Let's try this piece, because it's a little bit pointier. And then just really gently, 10,000 RPM, and you're just going to turn your finger or your client's finger upside down and get in there and file that out. Okay, and smooth it down. And then there's no more, you can't feel your customer won't be able to feel any more ridges, and it will mean that they'll be able to keep them cleaner underneath. Okay, so I can't really see to get into that bit there very well on the camera, so just give me a second. Right, that's that ridge gone. Just needs a bit of a clean under there. Okay, so that's that, and I'm going to go ahead and do that to all the other nails. All right. Okay, so that's them all finished now under there. You can still see a little bit of lines, like with the natural nailers and stuff like that, but that's fine. I've got rid of the bulk so that we can keep them clean, because there's nothing worse. Okay. So we're now ready to do our infill. Okay, so I've done both hands now and they're both ready. What we need to do now is get a wipe and some alcohol cleanser. I usually use it in here, but any alcohol, isopropyl alcohol is what you need. So make sure you give it a proper good clean. Get right into those crevices. And then what I also like to do is take a nail brush, just, you know, a normal basic nail brush, get some on that, and then give them a good scrub, and underneath as well. Give them a right good clean under there. Trust me, your customers will thank you for it, because it feels amazing when you've had that all cleaned under there. I'm just doing it quickly on this hand. I'll finish that off camera in a minute. Okay, so that's my first step. And then you want a primer or a dehydrator. And a dehydrator, sorry. So depending on what system you're using, obviously you need to use the ones that go with that, because that's what they've been manufactured for. So these are the Apres ones. So that's your first step. So you'd apply that to the natural nail. That's your bonder. See that? Okay. And then the second step would be, once that's dried, is your primer. I personally don't use those, but that's because, you know, I've tried and tested my own method, and I much prefer a different type of bonder. So obviously I've already cleaned my nails with alcohol, and I like to use, this one looks a bit battered actually, I like to use Young Nails Protein Bond. It's non-acidic, and I use it for gel and acrylic, whether it's gel extensions, whether it's tips, like half tips where you put them on the tip of the nail, or whether it's full cover tips. I swear by this stuff, and I so do a lot of nail techs. So but it's not available in the UK, I don't think. If anybody knows different, let me know. But I tend to buy it in bulk from the US. I do believe there might be a UK distributor. I might be wrong, maybe I've dreamt it. But anyway, yeah. Just making sure that you don't get it on the skin. And you just want it on the natural nail area. Okay. At this stage, you don't need to worry about the shaping of the nails. If they were a bad shape, if they're in really bad shape, then yeah, because you don't want to work on an uneven canvas, if that makes sense. But these are okay. So say they were square tips and you wanted rounded, then obviously I would suggest that you shape them first before you do this step. But because I'm keeping mine the same shape, they're fine as they are. Okay, so I'm gonna let that dry. Okay, so now we're ready to go in with our builder base. Now, what I will say about this is, like I said, you can easily get it from Amazon, and it's really, really cheap. I think it's like, I don't know whether it's £4 or £5, something like that for one of these bottles. So it's really cheap and easy if you were doing your nails at home, especially now that lockdown is here. And anyway, I'll link it below in case you guys want to buy it. Right, now this is going to be really tricky for me to do because obviously I need to see what I'm doing. Sorry, I'm sneezing. So I tend to do a slip layer first. Now what I mean by slip layer is put a very thin layer over the whole of the nail, because gel tends to go where gel has been. Okay, so getting up to the cuticle, pushing it up but not quite touching. Pull the skin back so you can get into those edges. Nice even coat on the base, and then you can go in and build up that back end. Now, this is the same process that I would do even if I was doing a normal gel infill. If they weren't full cover tips, I would probably use a different brand. Depends what the customer was using before, but yeah, so just pop a dollop on there, push it back, because we need to make sure that our apex is okay, and then just drag it down. Sorry, it's hard for me to do that whilst looking. Make sure it's blended. Okay, make sure it's nice and even. Move it around. That's the beauty of gel, you can move it around. Look at it from all angles. I also tend, I don't know whether I can do it on camera, I also tend to look down the barrel of the nail here when I'm doing it to see if it's even. And then I tip the client's hand upside down to let gravity do its thing. And then I take my brush. I don't know whether you can see me doing this. I can't really film it underneath, but I just move it around if I think that it's in the wrong area with my brush. I hope that makes sense. And then when you're happy, I'm going to flash cure it in the lamp for 10 seconds just to keep it in place, and then you can go ahead and do the others. And then when you've done all the others, you can then obviously put your hand in for a full cure. Okay, so that's now flash cured, and that's come out of the lamp. So you can see that the apex, oh, the apex is still there. It's built back in. It's a nice shape. I didn't have to do an awful lot of building with the apex because, you know, it was only a 3-week growth. You probably need to put more product on if it was a longer period. So I'm going to go ahead and do, in fact, I need my nail stand, I think, for this, because I can't show you guys otherwise. So let me know. Okay, so a thin layer of, because if I balanced it on the desk, you wouldn't be able to see. I suppose I could have put it on my desk and zoomed in, but then I'm going to give myself a backache. So excuse the mess of this. It's got glitter and stuff all over it. So again, get your bead of gel, push it to the back, work that gel where you want it, and then gradually bring it down the nail. Okay, give it a second or two to sit and set. And then let's move this away now, and then check that you're happy with the placement of it all. Looking down the barrel of the nail as well, and the other side if you can see it. And then if you're happy, turn it upside down. I'm happy with that from what I can see, and I'm going to flash it. Okay, so I've gone ahead and done those, and these ones have just come out the lamp, and I'm just going to give them a wipe with some isopropyl alcohol. A silver platter. Excuse me, I love this song. No one wanna share. Some people want it all. Excuse my singing. Okay, so now I'm going to get my metal file, and I'm going to sort out the shape. Okay, I like to use a metal file. This one's a little bit worn, but I have only been using it on myself. But these are actually interchangeable. If you don't know about metal files, you can literally pull this bit off. I'm not going to show you because I want to use this one, but you can peel that off and put a new one on. So, you know, obviously during times of COVID, it's really good. So you can put a fresh one on every time for your client. This one's only been used on me because obviously we are back in lockdown again. So yeah, and I love a metal file because it really helped me with my shaping. You can get them from AliExpress, which is where I got these ones from. I've also used the ones by Kylie Werry, and they were really good as well. So if you want them from the UK, then have a look at Kylie's website, kyliewerry.co.uk, I believe it is. And if not, then I will link below the link for the AliExpress ones, if you want to wait a little bit. So yeah, literally I go in now and do my shape, make sure I pull in those side walls, and then neaten it all up. I like mine slightly narrower. Those ones that I had on, I didn't even shape them. They were the Apres ones, in the short round. Yes, short round. So generally when I tend to do a fill on these types of nails, I tend to bring them in a little bit more. I just prefer the shape of them a bit narrower, a bit more almondy if you like, rather than round. And Apres don't do really an almond one, or if they do, I think they're too long for me, because their medium's really bloody long. And I've only got quite short nail beds, so I have to be careful. Okay, so that's that. And I'll do this one as well on camera with you, and then I'll do the rest off camera. And you can listen to the Bee Gees in the background if you can hear it. Apologies for my singing, by the way. I think I'm good. I probably sound awful. But hey ho. I love listening to music while I'm doing my nails. It's amazing how music can uplift the mood. I went out in my car the other day because we're in lockdown again, and obviously I'm not going anywhere, so I nipped out to get the kids McDonald's on the drive-through, and I put my foot down and whacked my music up really loud and just drove on my own. That one looks slightly wonky donkey there in that corner there, doesn't it? That's better. Alright, you're probably bored now watching me do this, so I will shape the rest of them off camera, and I'll faff and faff till I get the right shape. But that's, ignore those two. That's those two pretty much done, I think. Okay, we're back in a sec. Okay, so that's those all filed nicely. Now, to do the actual smoothing down here of these nails, you could go ahead with the metal file. Whoops. But the metal file is quite harsh. Now, I've never really used it because I worry that, because obviously I want it to be smooth, and you'd have to sort of like, you do that action, don't you? And I don't really want to use that one. So I actually use these ones, just a normal file, 180. Start at the cuticle area, and then, you know, give it good. So I obviously use my nail drill, but I use this one for the sakes of the video. Adele's on in the background, I can't stand her. She's, I find that she's really like screechy. It just made me laugh actually, because if I sing in the car when the kids are about, they say that I sound like a screaming goat, which is really bloody funny, you know, and you can just imagine the tongue hanging out. So yeah. Not a great look. I mean, I'm not sure that's, you know, my kids calling me a screaming donkey is really a compliment, if I'm honest, at all. So yeah, if you don't have any file, then you obviously keep going and keep going until you're happy that you've blended it well at that cuticle area, making sure that there's no lip, and it's nice and flat, making sure that you're happy with the actual nail, getting rid of all the bumps and lumps, and then looking down every which way of the nail for the shape. So I think the shape on that's quite nice. There's a little bit of dust there, I'll see to that in a minute. Oh, it's a bit wonky there, look on that edge. Let's just tidy that up. And then obviously check that side, which looks fine, and then I always check down the barrel of the nail. Now, if I'm doing this on a client, I pick up the barrel of the nail like that, and I'm trying to do this at a funny angle. I can't actually see it myself, but I do that like that so I can see exactly what I'm doing, whether I'm using the E file or whether I'm using this file. So does that make sense? So then you can see that you're smoothing it there and making it slimmer on these sides and getting that nice curve in the middle. Okay. So I am going to go in with this just because it's a little bit more abrasive and you don't want to see me faffing for God knows how long. Yeah. Just get rid of that there, that dust. So that's that nail ready to go, look. I'm still faffing though. See? So you can keep going, like this bit here, you know, you can keep going. But you've got to be careful not to file your natural nail. And all these, like this bit here, you're not going to see that when you put your nail polish on because that's like super slim. There's nothing there, there's no lip there, nothing. Okay, so that's that one. And then I'll show you what I do with my nail drill. So with my nail drill, it depends how I feel really. I sometimes use this because it's quite good shape to get, and it's okay to get right in the cuticle, the area there, without hurting the skin because it's rounded. Or you could use, this one's been used, but you could just use a normal arbor band, which is just like this is a 180 grit, so it's no different to using, you know, one of these, but it's just electronic and it's a lot quicker and easier. You can use that, but sometimes when they've been used a little bit, they do get a little bit around there, look, and you can't quite get a nice crisp. So yeah, I mean, if you're using a new one of those, then fine, but obviously make sure that you get rid of the sharpness first, like you would on a new nail file. But yeah, I mean, I tend to use something like this. Okay, so I've got it on 15 RPMs. I'm not sure whether that's fast enough, but we'll see. Oh, hang on, I've got it on reverse. There we go. Now I can't see this very well, but I hope you guys can. So make sure you blend in the area. And then let's just get right in those edges, pull the skin back as best you can. Obviously it would be easier for me to pull it back if I wasn't filming, but hopefully it's not out of shot and it's not blurry. So I'm going to get right in there, blend that right through, and then I'm going to swap bits because look how seamless that's made it now. I'm going to swap bits to the arbor band because I don't want anything too abrasive, because actually I've done quite a good fill on these. If they were lumpy bumpy, then obviously you'd need to do a lot more filing. I'm happy with the shape of these before I've even filed them. Look, if you look at the profile of the nail and down the barrel, it's quite good. That's the beauty with e-files, is that obviously if you do make a hash of it, or you know you aren't experienced, then you can use the e-file to clean up any bumps and mess. So I'm literally just gonna buff this because obviously when you want to gel polish it, gel doesn't like to stick to shiny surfaces. Okay. So get rid of any shiny bits. And there it is. And then that one's ready to be painted. So I'll do the rest and then I'll come back. Okay, so I've finished with those now, and you can see hopefully the profile on them all is fairly good. Sorry for I cut it earlier when I was cooking. Yeah, so get rid of the dust and then use a wipe and some alcohol. Get rid of that dust again. And Oh, and that's the glitter that I had on earlier. Let's just get rid of that. I don't know where that's creeped in from. And so yeah, that's those now done and infilled, ready to go. So they're ready to be painted. So everyone, I hope you liked this video. I'm not going to film me doing the actual decorating of the nails this time, and I'll save that for another video. But I just wanted to show you how I did my infills, because now I just go straight ahead and design on those and paint them. Okay, so I hope you liked this video. If you did, please let me know below and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to see me do an application of the full cover tips, then let me know as well. And yeah, so I will see you in the next one. Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much. Bye bye.